A young kid is having a meal at a restaurant when suddenly, his chair starts to float in the air. His mother quickly stables her son's chair to the ground using her leg. The boy is Bong-suk, who has the ability to fly in the air because his body mass decreases every time he gets emotional. But his mother, Miss Lee Mi-hyun, is hiding her son's abilities from the world. She is carrying her to a far-off place. There, she rents out a huge empty place by giving the owner a large amount of money and asking him never to come back for 3 years. She wants to live in solitude with her son. There, she makes her son practice staying on the ground. After some years, they shifted to a new place and opened a new restaurant. Bong-suk is not allowed to go out to play with other kids, but he always longs for it. One day, he goes out on the playground to watch a boy jump from a heightened metal frame. Everyone is cheering him on for his trick. Bong-suk goes and climbs the height part of the metal frame. He jumps from that cliff and starts flying in the air, amazing all the kids standing below him. A weird-looking old man is watching this feat of Bong-suk from his black car. The following day, the school teacher complained to Miss Lee Mi-hyun about Bong-suk because a kid tried to jump from the height from which Bong-suk had jumped earlier. In doing so, he got severely injured. So, Miss Lee Mi-hyun reprimanded her son for showcasing his abilities to the general public. She wanted her son to understand that the real hero is one who understands the emotions of others and then cares for them. At night, Bong-suk is very sad. He is standing on the rooftop, weeping in the pouring rain. Suddenly, he starts floating in the air because he is too emotional. Luckily, he grabs a string nearby, and his mom comes there to save him in time. After some years, Bong-suk wakes up from his dream on his bed. His mother makes delicious food for him, so Bong-suk eats a lot and gets heavier. Miss Lee Mi-hyun even puts heavy weight in the bag of Bong-suk to make him stay on the ground. After that, Bong-suk leaves for school. He takes the bus towards the school and sees a girl running to catch the bus. Bong-suk gets attracted to that girl. The girl is Jang Hui-soo, who comes from a poor family and doesn't even have credit in her card to pay for the rent of the bus. So, Bong-suk pays for her too. On the bus, Bong-suk gets emotional when he comes near Hui-soo again. His steps start to rise from the ground, but then he closes his eyes and starts to recall the value of pi to focus somewhere else. It's his way of diverting his focus from Hui-soo. At school, he drinks a lot of water to make himself heavier, as Hui-soo is going to be his classmate from now on. The weight his mother puts on Bong-suk used to be enough for his daily life. But now, with Hui-soo in the class, his emotions have increased, and so he needs more weight on him. Hui-soo is transferred from another school, which is why she is wearing a different uniform. She introduces herself to the class and then sits near Bong-suk, which makes him lose focus again. Bong-suk tries to recall the pi numbers to focus again. Later, the class teacher, Mr. Choi, advises Hui-soo to major in sports because she is fit and can accelerate on the physical examinations. Mr. Choi calls the class president, Gang-hoon, to show her the school's gymnasium. Gang-hoon takes Hui-soo to the gym and leaves her there to practice. Then he goes to Mr. Choi, seemingly concerned about Hui-soo. He asks Mr. Choi to let Hui-soo study the other subjects like other students, but Mr. Choi claims that he knows what's better for Hui-soo. The father of Hui-soo is very poor and doesn't even have money to pay for the new uniform of Hui-soo, as she is still wearing the previous school uniform, so he will not be able to pay the fees of majoring in other subjects. That is why Mr. Choi wants Hui-soo to accelerate in sports and get admission to the major by scholarship. The following day, when Bong-suk is going to school, it starts raining heavily. On his bus, he watches out from the window and sees Hui-soo running for school wearing a raincoat. As usual, Bong-suk is late for school, and also Hui-soo is late today. They both rush for the gate, and Hui-soo unknowingly pushes Bong-suk, making him fly and then fall to the ground. This makes the knee of Bong-suk get injured. The teacher allows them to pass through the gate if they both clean the bathrooms after the class. They both agree and go to their class. In the class, Hui-soo feels that she is smelling, so she asks Bong-suk for an extra school shirt. Bong-suk gives her his shirt, and Hui-soo goes to the bathroom to change. Gang-hoon is secretly watching Hui-soo go towards the bathroom area. There is also another boy, Bang Ki-soo, keeping his eyes on Hui-soo. Seeing him, Gang-hoon goes towards him and stops him from looking at Hui-soo. It looks like Gang-hoon likes the girl, but Bang Ki-soo gets angered by this behavior of Gang-hoon and challenges him to a fight. They both go to the forest behind the school and start fighting. Apparently having a calm look, Gang-hoon proves to be much stronger than Ki-soo. He beats him in no time. He is also a person with unique abilities. He leaves the injured Ki-soo back in the forest after defeating him. Back in the class, Mr. Choi teaches the students, and in the end, calls Gang Hoon into his office. Meanwhile, Bong-suk and Hui-soo go out to have lunch together. While having a meal, Bong-suk sees injured Ki-soo passing by the road. He wants to ask him what happened to him, but Hui-soo stops him, as Ki-soo is not his friend. Later, Hui-soo and Bong-suk come back to the school because today they have to clean the bathrooms. On the route, Hui-soo tries to ask the secret of Bong-suk, but he dodges the question. When Bong-suk is cleaning the bathroom, Hui-soo fetches an ointment to paste on the wound of Bong-suk, which he got earlier at the gate of the school. When Hui-soo touches the arm of Bong-suk, the feeling of Bong-suk suddenly increases. He tries to divert his attention but cannot control his emotions toward Hui-soo. Luckily, Hui-soo has left the room when Bong-suk starts floating in the air. Back at the restaurant, Miss Lee Mi-hyun has a lot of customers and is always busy serving them. On the other hand, the father of Hui-soo, Jang Ju-won, is struggling with his business. He does not have any customers, and he also does not have any delivery calls while his whole menu is ready to be served. At the end of the day, when there is no sale, he eats all the chicken legs himself to show Hui-soo that he did well the whole day. Hui-soo also understands the situation of his father. She tells him that she is practicing for admission to the sports-based quota. In this way, her father does not have to work hard. Somewhere else, a man named Frank lands at the airport. A delivery van is ready for him. He changes the clothes and sees a file placed in the truck. There is a list of people of his targets whom he is going to kill soon. He goes to one of the targets and starts fighting with him. Frank is a man with unique abilities. He heals very quickly after every injury. Also, the man whom he has gone to kill is exceptionally strong. Though he is an old man named Junshin, he fights very well. But in the end, Frank overcomes Junshin. Upon asking why he is killing him, Frank replies that because the Junshin is now retired. Frank throws Junshin out of a very high building onto the road outside. Miss Lee Mi-hyun is watching the posts about the death of Junshin because it was a very unusual murder. She notices the delivery van parked outside the building. Then she fetches out her ammunition and starts cleansing them as if she is going to get ready for an upcoming war. When Miss Lee Mi-hyun goes to check the crime scene, he sees another delivery guy there. He is actually Ju-won, the father of Hui-soo. Meanwhile, Frank has gone to his next target. It is another old man who can control the electric current, but Frank switches off the electricity to increase the problems of the electric man. The old man uses a battery cell to get the current for the fight against Frank, but when the cell discharges completely, Frank smiles and then quickly overcomes the old man. Eventually, he also kills that man in his own library, setting fire to it at the end. Frank finds the picture of the son of that electric man there, but he cannot get any more information. At night, Frank watches the school because the son of that old man graduated from that school, as depicted in the picture. However, the guard present there makes Frank go out empty-handed. Then, the guard informs someone on the call about that weird man, Frank. In the morning, the guard installs a camera at the main gate for surveillance. Meanwhile, Bong-suk notices that his bus driver has changed. Still, he enters the bus and looks at Hui-soo from inside, who is running again towards school wearing a raincoat. After school, Hui-soo is again practicing her running exam on the ground, but all the lights are off. So Bong-suk goes and turns on the lights of the whole school, helping Hui-soo in her run. Later, we see Mr. Choi teaching Hui-soo about height and jumping and also about throwing balls to a distance. Due to the training, Hui-soo is late at the mess hall, and the mess ends before her, so Bong-suk shares his own meal with her. Later, Mr. Choi asks Gang Hoon to turn on the fans of the gymnasium so that it will not be hot for Hui-soo when she comes to practice there. Gang Hoon takes the keys and turns on the fans. He stands there looking at Hui-soo for a long time. In the meantime, Gang Suk also comes there and sees Hui-soo practicing the high jump. Suddenly, she slips and falls down. Seeing this, Gang Suk flies toward Hui-soo to save her but also falls to the ground. Gang Hoon is also watching the whole scene and now he knows about the secret of Bong-suk too. Luckily, Hui-soo is safe and sound. After that, Hui-soo asks Bong-suk to help her in her practice, as he is a heavyweight, so he can support Hui-soo while she is doing crunches. But by touching the girl he likes, Bong-suk loses control over his emotions again and starts to fly. He tries to focus on the value of pi, but when he opens his eyes and sees Hui-soo so close to him, he starts floating in the air and falls very far away. Hui-soo goes to help him and the cleaner lady comes in the gymnasium to clean. So, Hui-soo and Bong-suk leave. Gang Hoon, who was watching all this, is angry at both of them, as he wants himself to be with Hui-soo. Showcasing his own special abilities, he high jumps and punches on the wall with his hand. The following day, Hui-soo was very curious about Bong-suk. She wants to know how he can float in the air. She tries to ask him the secret behind it, but Bong-suk dodges her questions. So Hui-soo sends Bong-suk to the gymnasium to get her shoes, and she herself follows him secretly. After getting the shoes, they both sit at the stairs, and Bong-suk puts his bag to the side to look something into it. Right then, Hui-soo touches the injured knee of Bong-suk to set the plaster on it, but it ignites Bong-suk's feelings, and he is not wearing his heavy bag, so he starts floating in the air again. Hui-soo helps him get down and then puts his bag around him. She tries to calm down Bong-suk by hugging him, but it only excites him more. All these things are being recorded on the CCTV, and the guard at the gate is monitoring them. Hui-soo helps Bong-suk reach his home. She keeps on fetching Bong-suk back to the ground every time he goes above it due to his emotions. After reaching home, Miss Lee Mi-hyun greets Hui-soo warmly into her house. She is happy that Bong-suk is able to make a friend, and it's the first time that a friend of Bong-suk has come to their house. Miss Lee Mi-hyun offers food for both of them, and Hui-soo informs her father that she will be late because she is staying at her friend's home for some time. In the meantime, Ju-won is busy writing an order he got for the first time ever to deliver some food at a mobile shop. At Bong-suk's house, Miss Lee Mi-hyun gives Hui-soo and Bong-suk a lot of food to eat. Our boy reveals that his mother always gives him a lot of food. That's why he is gaining weight. Then, he shows Hui-soo his room, which is fully covered by foam material, so that Bong-suk doesn't get hurt due to his unintentional floating in the air. His mom cared for him a lot and managed his room very well from his childhood. Hui-soo now knows that Bong-suk has feelings for her, so she teases him by getting close to him. Bong-suk soon touches the roof with an explosion of his feelings. Then, Hui-soo gives Bong-suk a heavy weight to make him sit on the bed and then reveals that she also has feelings for him. Miss Lee Mi-hyun consents, using her extraordinary senses, that her son and Hui-soo are close to each other, so she doesn't disturb them and even sends Bong-suk to see off his girlfriend. When Bong-suk comes back home earlier, Miss Lee Mi-hyun asks him to go and leave Hui-soo at least at the bus stop because she is a girl and is going home alone. So Bong-suk gets his raincoat quickly and runs after Hui-soo. He has to lose the extra weight of his body to fly in search of Hui-soo. Eventually, he reaches to her and properly leaves her at the bus stop. Meanwhile, Frank has gone for his next target. It is an old woman this time whose time has come to die at the hands of Frank. She is a barber, and Frank pretends first to get a haircut and then asks her questions about her children, which makes the old lady doubt Frank, so she stabs 2 pairs of scissors straight into his head. But Frank has the ability to heal himself quickly. The old lady is also a special human with the ability to see across the walls and doors. She gives a tough time to Frank, but in the end, Frank overpowers her. He tries to ask about the children of that lady again, but the lady doesn't tell him anything, so Frank kills her, saying that he will find her children at her funeral. At the same time, Ju-won arrives at that building to deliver food. He stops Frank and asks him the location of the mobile shop. Frank tells him the location and then leaves. After that, Ju-won goes to that shop and delivers the food, but he has not carried the credit card machine, so he asks the shopkeeper to come back to him for the payment. The shopkeeper ridicules him, but Ju-won doesn't respond to him. The following day, Bong-suk is going to school again though it's a holiday. He tells his mother that there are some extra classes at school, that's why he has to go. But in reality, he is going to help Hui-soo in her practice at the gymnasium. They both reach the gymnasium and are confused about the hand mark on the wall of the gym. Hui-soo thinks that Bong-suk did this because he can float in the air, but Bong-suk refuses this. Then Bong-suk asks Hui-soo how she managed to digest the secret of Bong-suk so easily because normal human doesn't understand his ability. Then Hui-soo replies that she also has a secret that she has not yet revealed to anyone. Hui-soo asks Bong-suk to keep her secret if she tells him, so Bong-suk promises him, and Hui-soo questions him that didn't feel suspicious about seeing a transfer student in his class in his senior year of school, because normally people are not get transferred in this year. Bong-suk speculates that she might have indulged in some fighting back at the school. Hui-soo says that he is right, but there is still more in the story. In a flashback, we see the Hui-soo and her father living together in a remote area. Her mother died in an accident, and since then, they have both been alone. His father used to work in a mine, and Hui-soo went to the school at that time. In the school, there were some bullies who always bullied a rich girl in the class. They take her things and also tease her a lot. When she complained about them to the teachers gave them a warning and did nothing else. But the complaint infuriated all the bully girls, so this time they come at that rich girl named Shin Hae-won. The bully girl even shows off a knife to threaten Shin Hae-won, but a student stands up in her defense. Suddenly, a fight breaks up between that student and the boyfriend of that bully girl. They beat the poor students a lot. Then the girls pour water on Shin Hae-won and start mocking her again. Hui-soo has been silent till this, but now she can't be silent anymore. She stands up and challenges those girls for a fight. She takes them out on the ground for the fight and starts beating them. The bully girl bites her and uses knives on her. But Hui-soo's injuries heal quickly. The bully girls are shocked by seeing this miracle. Hui-soo then beats them to the ground. The following day, Juwon is called into the school. Hui-soo was struck off from their school. Teachers think that Hui-soo started the fight and beat all the girls because Hui-soo has no signs of wounds on her body. So, the matter is not considered a defense attack. Juwon has to sell his house to pay for the hospital dues of all the students who got injured. So now is left with no money because he will lose the minor job if they go to the area of the new school. Outside the school, Hui-soo asks her father about her condition. She wants to know why she doesn't get injured and heals all her wounds so easily. Juwon already knows about Hui-soo's ability and tells her that she is a gifted child. Also, her mother didn't want her to know this secret, so he hid it from her. Back in the present, Hui-soo is telling her whole story to Bong-suk. She was contracted by the old man whom we saw earlier keeping an eye on Bong-suk too. That old man is the principal of the school of Bong-suk, and his name is Jo Rae-hyuk. He tells Hui-soo that she still has a chance to graduate from his school. In this way, Hui-soo was transferred to the school of Bong-suk. The following morning, Juwon goes back to the mobile shop to get the payment from the shopkeeper. He notices that someone is killed in that building that night, and many higher officials are on the crime scene examining the situation. Somewhere in the Office of National Intelligence Services, the secretary of Mr. Min informs him about the recent deaths of individuals with special abilities. Mr. Min knows about the abilities of those persons who died, and he is clearly concerned about their deaths. He speculates that the CIA is behind the deaths of these people. Meanwhile, the principal, Jo Rae-hyuk, enters the office and reports about his mission. He has been working on a project named National Talent Development Project where he is gathering all the kids with special abilities. That's why we have seen at least 3 of the students with special abilities at his school yet. Mr. Min tells him about the recent deaths of their old agents who are being targeted by the CIA seemingly. The targeted individuals must have children studying in the school of Jo Rae-hyuk, so Mr. Min asks him to stay cautious of him. The following day, Frank goes to the funeral of that old lady who was a barber. He tries to extract information about the biological child of the deceased woman but cannot find any more pursuable lead. The son of the electric man whom Frank killed earlier is also present in the building, mourning the death of his father. His name is Cho Tae-hyun, and he also has the ability to control the electric current. In the meantime, Frank leaves the funeral house in his van empty-ended. Then, we see the story of Cho Tae-hyun. He is a bus driver now, but he struggled a lot in his childhood. The signs of his special abilities appeared in his class very early, but then he was transferred to the school of Jo Rae-hyuk. There, Mr. Choi asks him to train for admission on the sports quota, though he doesn't have any apparent inclinations to it. He practices hard for admission, but on graduation day, surprisingly, Mr. Choi asks him to go for a major in mass communications. Eventually, he ended up at the audition for a superhero character for a kids show named Bungaman. There, he was able to impress the examiners with his electric current-using abilities. He got a job as a Bungaman and became famous among kids within no time. But one day, his hand glove was torn up, and he accidentally caused electric bursts during the live performance on the stage. This made all the children frightened, and he had to resign from his job. After some days, the father of Cho Tae-hyun motivated him to again apply for the jobs, but he received rejections from everywhere. So one day, when he is eating at a restaurant, he sees a bus driver worried about the dead batter of his bus. As Cho Tae-hyun has a current in his hands, he goes to help that bus driver. He charges up the batteries in no time. That bus driver became happy, and as he was the owner of the bus, he offered a job to Cho Tae-hyun. Since then, Tae-hyun has been driving the bus and meets Bong-suk daily on his morning route towards school. At present, Cho Tae-hyun is angry at his father's murderer and wants revenge. His boss asks him to go on leave for some days, but Tae-hyun wants to stay busy by driving the bus. The following day, Ki-soo returns to school after so many days because Gang-hoon has beaten him badly. Also, there is a new student at their school who got transferred from some other school. She is none other than Shin Hae-won, the rich girl for whom Hui-soo fought at her previous school. During the lunch break, Shin Hae-won comes and sits with Bong-suk and Hui-soo. She becomes friends with them in no time. A vlogger student comes to their table and informs them about the tension between Ki-soo and Gang-hoon. Meanwhile, Ki-soo carries his leftover meal and throws it into the plate of Gang-hoon. Then he puts the glasses of Gang-hoon onto the lunch plate to disrespect him. Ki-soo says to Gang-hoon that he doesn't fear him, and that he knows that Gang-hoon can't attack him in public. Also, he tells him that he is going to expose him to the public soon. After that, Bong-suk takes out the glasses of Gang-hoon from the plate and cleans them. Hui-soo returns the glasses to Gang-hoon and motivates him, saying that he did a good job by not escalating the fight with Ki-soo. If he could fight back, he chose to stay calm, which was the need of the hour too. Gang-hoon becomes happy at finding that Hui-soo was on his side. He thanks him for returning the glasses and then leaves the gymnasium room for her. In the NIS, the secretary informs Mr. Min with confirmation that Frank has been sent by the CIA to kill all the retired special agents. Mr. Min asks her to call for the ambassador of the USA to his office. Back in the gymnasium, when Bong-suk is playing some music for Hui-soo, they both get close to each other. But before Bong-suk goes into the air again, Hui-soo puts weight on him. Bong-suk leaves his phone with music being played on it for Hui-soo in the gymnasium, and he goes to take the class. When he returns back to the gym, he sees that the phone is powered off because its battery is dead. He gets anxious because his mother has strictly prohibited him from turning off his phone, so he quickly leaves for his mother so that his mother would not get worried about him. Bong-suk meets Cho Tae-hyun at the bus and tells him that he missed him when he was not coming to drive the bus. On the other hand, Frank has got permission to kill his next target, and it's the mother of Bong-suk, Miss Lee Mi-hyun. Gang-hoon has also reached back home and meets his father, who also has special abilities, but he is on probation and can't leave his home. Meanwhile, Ju-won has got a new phone for his daughter. Then, the scene shifts to Miss Lee Mi-hyun, who is busy at her restaurant when Frank comes in. She has already recognized him as the killer by seeing his van present at the previous murder scenes. She texts Bong-suk not to come home for some time and then starts preparing a meal for Frank. But phone of Bong-suk is dead, so he doesn't receive the texts and straight enters the restaurant. Miss Lee Mi-hyun pretends that Bong-suk is another customer, asks him to sit at a table, and goes to get a meal for him. But in reality, she fetches out her gun and hides it behind her cooking gown. In the meantime, Frank is talking with Bong-suk about his school. At NIS, the ambassador of the CIA has reached the office of Mr. Min. At first, the ambassador pretends that he doesn't know anything, but then Mr. Min shows him the proof of CIA involvement in the recent deaths of special individuals in their nation who retired from the secret agencies. Then the ambassador agrees that they really have sent an agent. Now, Mr. Min asks him to stop that agent from pursuing his mission any further. Otherwise, he is going to make a call to China, and both countries will start an attack on them. On the other hand, Frank is free from his meal, and he is about to start his mission when he gets a message from the ambassador to hold. So Frank pays for the meal and leaves without doing anything. Then, Miss Lee Mi-hyun is angry at Bong-suk for not following her orders not to come home. Bong-suk says that his phone is dead, but Miss Lee Mi-hyun is very angry at him and doesn't want to hear any excuse. Bong-suk tries to talk to her about the man who was there in the restaurant, but Miss Lee Mi-hyun doesn't say anything. When Frank is going back in his van, the ambassador texts him the next target. Here, the ambassador is doing a double game. Unfortunately, the next target is Ju-won, so Frank quickly takes a U-turn, and in doing so, he is about to crash into the bus of Cho Tae-hyun, but luckily Tae-hyun applies the brakes in time. He recognizes the man as the murderer of his father, so Tae-hyun starts chasing him with his bus. He bumps his bus into his van and asks him to stop, but Frank takes him into the wilderness. When Cho Tae-hyun follows him there, Frank suddenly comes from a side and crashes his van into the bus. Tae-hyun takes out a cell and uses its electric current to attack Frank. He is extremely angry at the murderer, but he is too weak to hurt him. He tries again and again to beat Frank, but in the process, he himself gets beaten by Frank. And when the battery cell is discharged completely, Tae-hyun is like a powerless child in front of Frank. After that, Frank goes to the shop of Ju-won, but Ju-won is not present there. He sees the order receipt on the table, which indicates that Juwon is out to deliver food somewhere. So Frank quickly gets into his van and drives off towards Juwon. On reaching his motorcycle, Frank crashes his van into his bike of Juwon. Then, he drives the van over Juwon multiple times, making sure that he is dead on the spot. After that, Frank goes back to the wilderness and texts his boss that the work is finished. Right then, Juwon comes out from below the van and smashes the glass window to get Frank out of the vehicle. Juwon also has the ability to heal quickly. That's why he is still alive after such a gruesome murder attempt. Then Juwon checks the file present in the van. It has the list of targets Frank, and all the people are those who worked in the secret agencies and have special abilities. Meanwhile, Frank is back in his consciousness. He attacks Juwon, and they start fighting. Both have the ability to heal their wounds quickly, but this time, Juwon proves to be stronger than Frank. He gives straight punches into the face of Frank again and again. It looks like this time Frank is really dead. Then Juwon takes out all the target list documents and sets them on fire along with the truck of Frank when Frank's body is inside it. Juwon gets back to his restaurant and eats his food. His shirt is stained by the blood completely, but his wounds are healed in no time as he looks very fresh. The following morning, Miss Lee Mi-hyun gets Bong-suk ready for school and also gives him a power bank to charge his phone battery whenever needed. She asks him to stay in contact on the phone all the time and comes back home straight after the class. In the class, when the teacher is done, Hui-soo asks Bong-suk to help her in the gym, but Bong-suk refuses. He has to go home early. He is now paying attention to his studies all the time. Day by day, the examination date is also coming near, so Hui-soo has to practice alone. She also doesn't bother Bong-suk anymore. One night before the exam, Hui-soo texts Bong-suk and wishes him best for the next day. Bong-suk becomes happy by seeing her texts. Hui-soo asks him to open the window and looks outside. Hui-soo is standing there at a far distance waving at Bong-suk. Our boy has the abilities of his mother too, so he can look at far distances and his senses are very sharp. Seeing Hui-soo standing there alone, he jumps from there and reaches to her. Hui-soo says that Bong-suk has been always available for her whenever she needed. That's why she wanted to wish best of luck to him on this night, otherwise she would not have come to bother him. Then Hui-soo lifts a nearby big stone and places it in the lap of Bong-suk. After that, she confesses to him that she also likes him a lot. To make this romantic moment more memorable, it starts snowing there and both the students becomes very happy. The next day is the sports examination, and everybody is excited about it. Bong-suk and Gang-hoon are playing badminton together while Hui-soo is practicing high jump. Each time she jumps and forces her hand on the height meter, the screws of the metal frame holding that meter become loose. And eventually, when Hui-soo crosses the red line mark on the meter by jumping the highest of her career, the screws come out of their positions and the metal frame falls. Hui-soo is standing right there, and a metal frame is coming on her. Gang-hoon and Bong-suk are watching this, and they rush towards Hui-soo to help her. Bong-suk could not reach Hui-soo because of his heavy weight, but Gang-hoon reached in time and saved Hui-soo from the potential casualty. The whole scene is recorded into the camera of the vlogger student. She, along with all other students, is stunned to see the speed of Gang-hoon. The students can't believe their eyes that someone can be so fast. Soon, the vlogger student uploads the video on social media. Ki-soo is happy that Gang-hoon is now exposed to the public. The whole nation sees this video of students. Some believe it is some type of athletic move, while others think it is fake. The secretary informs Mr. Min about this video. Mr. Min is angry because the video can expose their whole project to the public. Meanwhile, Juwon and Miss Lee Mi-hyun have also seen the video of Gang-hoon, and Bong-suk is sad because he could not help Hui-soo. Now, he is practicing to fly in the air because he never wants to fail again. When his mother came to see him in the room, she could not find him there. The window is open, so Bong-suk must be outside. She goes outside and sees that Bong-suk is practicing his skill but is falling again and again on the ground in the process. Seeing his mother, he again falls to the ground. His mother asks him what he is doing outside. Then Bong-suk replies that he wants to fly in the air. He wanted to save Hui-soo but couldn't, and it was because his mother tied him to the ground. He feels like being tied all the time by the strings. Now, he wants to be free and wants to touch the sky. Hearing this, Miss Lee Mi-hyun cries to him and says that he wants to become like his father. It is the first time Miss Lee Mi-hyun is talking about the father of Bong-suk. His father had the ability to fly in the air just like Bong-suk, but it didn't benefit him in the end. Miss Lee Mi-hyun starts weeping, telling the story of his father. Bong-suk then remembers that flying in the sky was not a bad dream but a memory of his childhood. He used to fly with his father in the skies. A few years back, we we saw the father of Bong-suk named Kim Do-sik. He is flying in the air alone with an airplane. He reaches the cockpit of the airplane and tries to tell the pilots that there is a bomb on the airplane, so they should land immediately. But the pilots don't understand him. Suddenly, an explosion occurs from inside, and the whole plane gets into the fire due to the explosion. Seeing this, Kim Do-sik is in great pain because so many lives are wasted on the plane due to that bomb. Kim Do-sik used to work in the National Intelligence Services as a pioneer agent with special abilities. Also, Miss Lee Mi-hyun works there in the information department. One day, the boss, Mr. Min, calls Miss Lee Mi-hyun to assign her a new mission. She has been a failure on her previous mission, where her team was searching for a traitor at an event. Miss Lee Mi-hyun sang a very good song there, but when the team started firing bullets at the innocent people there to find the traitor, Miss Lee Mi-hyun acted against her own team in charge's instructions. She was asked to explode a smoke grenade, but Miss Lee Mi-hyun exploded the one that produced a high frequency of sound waves. Those waves were high enough to divert the attention of her team members. Then she shouted at the door lock to open it and signaled the people to flee from that place. So deep inside, she is a good human who can even go against the orders of her higher officials to do good deeds. Back at NIS, Mr. Min knows that Miss Lee Mi-hyun has special abilities. Her senses are extremely sharp, and she is the youngest of the graduates in their department. She is good at adjusting to the given situations quickly, but still, she failed at the mission of finding the traitor. So Mr. Min wants to give her another chance. This time her job is to get closer to an agent named Kim Do-sik. Her duty is to make him fall in love and then extract some secret information from him. So from the next day, Miss Lee Mi-hyun starts to pass by Kim Do-sik often in the department. Every time he enters the building, Miss Lee Mi-hyun gets a call from the guard on the gate, and she quickly goes to the lift carrying some files. Or she is present at the coffee machine and wait for her target. Kim Do-sik has also started noticing her. He has also seen Miss Lee Mi-hyun and her car in the garage multiple times. So one day, when Miss Lee Mi-hyun is waiting for Kim Do-sik at the coffee machine, Kim Do-sik actually comes near. He seems to be attracted by her. They greet each other there for the first time and then enjoy their coffee. After that, every time Miss Lee Mi-hyun carries files to live, Kim Do-sik helps her in carrying the weight and even leaves her at her workstation. They also start enjoying coffee together. Then one day, Kim Do-sik reveals that he knew that Miss Lee Mi-hyun was spying on him. Miss Lee Mi-hyun always carried the same files with her, which made Kim Do-sik suspicious of her. But he still acted normally because he was attracted to her genuinely. So now the mission of Miss Lee Mi-hyun has failed, and she will have to face criticism from her boss. But Kim Do-sik takes her to dinner to make her mood. They enjoy a king-size donkatsu together at the restaurant. The following day, Miss Lee Mi-hyun meets Kim Do-sik at the coffee machine. She reveals that the hardest thing in her mission was this coffee which she didn't like but had to drink most often for Kim Do-sik. She tells him that she is going to tell Mr. Min that she has failed in her mission, but Kim Do-sik stops her from doing this. He wants to keep things going as it is. Kim Do-sik reveals that he knows Miss Lee Mi-hyun even before they meet at the department. He has seen her at the traitor's mission, where Miss Lee Mi-hyun helped innocent individuals to run and save their lives. He was looking at her from the window outside, standing and pointing a gun at her. He also wanted to save the innocent people from there, which Miss Lee Mi-hyun did for her. Maybe that was the reason which compelled Kim Do-sik to like her. Now, he wants her to keep acting as a spy on him because, in this way, he will be able to give the information to Mr. Min that he wants. Also, in this way, Miss Lee Mi-hyun would not have to face the harsh behavior of her boss. The following day, Mr. Min calls for Miss Lee Mi-hyun. When she goes to meet him, she sees some secret cassettes present there about which Miss Lee Mi-hyun doesn't know anything. Mr. Min asks her about the progression of the mission, to which Miss Lee Mi-hyun replies that she is doing good. She has become closer to Kim Do-sik but still has not found any secret. So Mr. Min asks her to continue her job and find what he wants as soon as possible. Actually, Mr. Min himself doesn't know what type of secret he wants to find. He just knows that Kim Do-sik is very good at his work, and that's why he wants to know the reason. Miss Lee Mi-hyun listens to the whole conversation and then goes out. She then gives some advice to the secretary, Mr. Min, about her dressing style and the method of coffee making. The secretary is extremely thankful to her for such a piece of advice. That night when Miss Lee Mi-hyun is working late at her office alone, she hears some unusual whispers. When she turns to see outside the window, Kim Do-sik is present in the air at the level of the 5th-story building. At first, Miss Lee Mi-hyun is shocked at how he is standing in there. She quickly opens the door and lets him in. Kim Do-sik has brought some donkatsu for her. He reveals that this is the secret of Do-sik, that he can fly in the air. After that, he hands over the food and leaves from the window. Miss Lee Mi-hyun then enjoys her meal at her desk. She also has some special abilities. She can see a very far-off thing easily as her vision is very strong. She puts down her glasses and watches Kim Do-sik sitting at a tall tower enjoying his own meal there. Next, we see Kim Do-sik at the shooting practice. He is very good at targeting his spot on the body, which makes the enemy paralyzed for a moment, but he doesn't take his life. He shoots multiple bullets at the same spot without missing any one of them. Ju-won is his assistant at that time, and he is amazed by seeing his correct aiming ability. Later at night, Kim Do-sik goes to meet Miss Lee Mi-hyun, but she is busy with her work, so Kim Do-sik waits there for a long time. While waiting, the heartbeat of Kim Do-sik becomes inconsistent, and Miss Lee Mi-hyun senses it. She then reveals her secret to Kim Do-sik, that she can sense things better than common people. Like, she knows the exact heartbeat of Kim Do-sik at that time, and even she can mimic it. All this makes for a very romantic moment when they both come together and share a kiss. Due to the high emotions, Kim Do-sik starts floating in the air while kissing Miss Lee Mi-hyun. After that, they go for a walk outside in the beautiful weather of their city and enjoy happy conversations together. The following day, Mr. Min again calls for Miss Lee Mi-hyun and asks her to report about her mission. Miss Lee Mi-hyun knows about the secret of Kim Do-sik this time, but she tells Mr. Min that she still has not found it. Surprisingly, Mr. Min doesn't show any bad behavior towards her hearing this. He just asks her that her mission is completed and now she doesn't have to do anything. Actually, Mr. Min has already come to know the secret of Kim Do-sik. He has been keeping an eye on him from multiple angles since the incident of that traitor's mission failure. He knew that Kim Do-sik and Miss Lee Mi-hyun went against his orders during that mission. In his view, humanity is nothing when it comes to the completion of its mission. The killing of many innocents just for the sake of one killing of a traitor is not a big sacrifice in his eyes. So now he knows that Miss Lee Mi-hyun is telling a lie to him, and in reality, she also knows the secret of Kim Do-sik. When the secretary, Mr. Min, leaves his office after serving the coffee to them, Mr. Min is talking about the lie of Miss Lee Mi-hyun with another agent superior to Miss Lee Mi-hyun. The secretary overhears this conversation and tells Miss Lee Mi-hyun on the call that Mr. Min knows about her lie. She is doing this favor to her because Miss Lee Mi-hyun had helped earlier by giving advice about her dressing and coffee. After hearing this, Miss Lee Mi-hyun checks for any hidden cameras, and then she finds one in front of her workstation. Also, there is one in the coffee machine where Miss Lee Mi-hyun and Kim Do-sik used to talk. So now Mr. Min calls Miss Lee Mi-hyun and reprimands her for hiding the truth from her boss. She loses her image and career position even further in the agency. That night, Kim Do-sik comes to see Miss Lee Mi-hyun, but he can't come closer to her because he will be caught doing this. He is looking at her as if he is going somewhere far. The following day, news comes in the department that the president of North Korea is dead. Soon, it becomes viral all over the nation. Newspapers are saying that the death is due to a heart attack. But Mr. Min knows something that the common public doesn't know. He is very angry at his own agent for not following his orders again. He is speculating that Kim Do-sik did this murder, and now he has disappeared somewhere. That's why Mr. Min appoints some of the agents to spy on Miss Lee Mi-hyun this time and also to find Kim Do-sik throughout the country. After some days, when Miss Lee Mi-hyun is at her house, it is raining heavily outside, and Kim Do-sik comes there through the window. He is back after so many days of his disappearance, so Miss Lee Mi-hyun gets emotional upon seeing him and straight hugs him tightly. But she is being monitored, and there are so many rifle spots straight at the back of Kim Do-sik. Suddenly, the other agents also come there to arrest Kim Do-sik on the spot. The story shifts to the young days of Ju-won when he used to work for a casino owner. One day, he receives a message from the owner that a gang mafia has occupied their casino, and he is with a large number of men, so it is difficult to make him leave the casino. Then Ju-won goes to him and fights with all of his men single-handedly. He even stabs himself open to show his gallbladder to the gangster in an attempt to threaten him. In the end, he succeeds in getting back the casino. Everyone bows down for him as he does an amazing feat all alone. When he is in the restroom, the assistant of Ju-won, Min-ki, comes and helps in removing the stabbed knives from the body of Ju-won. After some days, he sees that his owner is going to deal with the gangster. They are going to run the casino together from now, and that's why they are now partying. They also welcome Ju-won into their party, but Ju-won is angry on them. He doesn't want to be part of the enemy group, so he leaves them alone for the party. Outside the casino, Ju-won meets Min-ki, who takes him to another restaurant for his favorite food. He has also called the owner of the casino there to meet Ju-won. He pretends that he wants them to settle all the disputes between them, but in reality, Min-ki has mixed something in the drink, which makes both of them unconscious in no time. When Ju-won opens his eyes, he finds himself tied to the car seats along with his boss. The gangster is present there, who is pushing the car into the water with his man. He says that Ju-won is a monster, but he is a full monster because he has been ditched by his boss and also his assistant, Min-ki. His boss was the one who offered an alliance with the gangster at first, and Min-ki is the one who handed them over to him now by making them drink something which made them unconscious. Saying this, he gives a final push to the car, and the vehicle submerges into the water. Inside the water, Ju-won breaks his thumb to free his hands from the handcuffs. He then unties the ropes around his neck and comes out of the water. He goes straight to the casino and kills the gangster, but Min-ki starts pleading for his life. Ju-won shows some mercy on him and just rips his cheek with his handcuffs. He leaves the casino without killing him. At present, Mr. Men has reached there asking for the man called the monster. Min-ki narrates the whole story of Ju-won and then takes Mr. Min to meet Ju-won. In the meantime, Ju-won has been living in a motel alone and doesn't come out often. He only comes out when the hotel owner asks for money. He goes to the street and comes in front of the car. When the car hits him, he pretends to get hurt badly and then demands the money from the car owner for not going to the police. In this way, Ju-won is earning money and paying for his stay at the hotel. There, he also comes across a lady who used to come to the hotel to serve coffee to the residents of that hotel. He sees someone behaving very badly in that hotel but doesn't react to it. Later, one day when he is again out on the road in an attempt to make some money, he gets hit by a car, but the car owner doesn't stop there and runs after hitting him. So Ju-won runs behind him, crying that he will sue the car owner for hit and run. Meanwhile, that coffee lady comes there on her scooter and offers her help, but Ju-won says that he doesn't need any help except that he wants to know the location of the police station because he is bad with directions. The coffee lady shows him the directions, which Ju-won again forgets soon. He stumbles across the roads for some time, and when he can't find the location, he starts weeping on the road. Luckily, the coffee lady again happens to pass from there and sees him. This time, she takes Ju-won with her on the scooter. The name of that lady is Ji-hee, and our Ju-won is completely flat for her now. Back in his apartment, he calls the coffee shop and asks them to deliver some coffee to his room. Meanwhile, he shaves his beard and gets ready to welcome Ji-hee there. But unfortunately, some other lady comes with coffee to his room. He drinks the coffee quickly and again calls for another order of coffee after some time. This time, again, the delivery woman is not Ji-hee. So Ju-won ordered the coffee for the third time. To his good luck, this time Ji-hee comes herself with the coffee. Seeing her, Ju-won becomes very happy and welcomes her into his room warmly. He offers her some money to sit there and just talk to him. Ji-hee is a little bit anxious, but she remains there until Ju-won ends his coffee and then leaves. When she is going out, Ju-won asks her to come again whenever he orders the coffee. Back at the coffee shop, Ji-hee tells the owner of the shop that the man is completely flat on her. He demands her to come every time whenever he orders coffee. So the next day, owner again sends Ji-hee to deliver the coffee to Ju-won. In the room, she spends a lot of time with Ju-won, chatting about different things. Along with Ju-won, she also enjoys coffee daily. Ju-won has spent all of his money on coffee, and now he is left with nothing. When he is out of the hotel, some goons from a room order the coffee, and Ji-hee gets coffee for them, but those goons start teasing her, and Ji-hee fights with them in her defense. In the meantime, Ju is back and he hears the cries of Ji-hee from a room. He goes into the nearby room and starts smashing into the wall. He is going to break the wall because the goons are not opening the door. Eventually, he succeeds in smashing through the wall. Once he enters the room, one of the bullies throws a wine bottle at Ju-won, but he stands there calmly, though his head starts bleeding. He beats all of them one by one and then stacks their bodies into a room. He then asks the owner to lock the door and not tell anyone about the incident. The owner herself is frightened of Ju-won, so she agrees without any questions asked. Later, Ju-won calls Ji-hee and asks her to stay cautious of bad people. Meanwhile, the whole gang of goons come to the hotel to take revenge for their men from Ju-won. They beat him badly, but Ju-won is also a badass. He bears all the wounds and then beats them in return. He fights with more than 100 men alone in that motel also, along with all those weapons being used by his opponents. When he is free from beating one gang member, there is another just at that time. They are the men of Min-ki, who is with Mr. Min at that time. Min Ki is there to showcase the power of the monster to Mr. Min. When Ju-won falls from the building and sees Min Ki sitting in the car outside, he throws a baseball bat straight into the front window of Min Ki's car, just inches away from hitting the face of Min Ki. In the meantime, more people are deployed by Min Ki to kill Ju-won, so Ju-won runs into the narrow streets to save his life. Mr. Min asks his man Kim Do-sik to take Ju-won into his team as he will be useful to them. Meanwhile, Ji-hee is back from the hospital after getting treatment for her wounds. She hears that Ju-won was attacked at the hotel by many gangsters at a time, so she gets worried for him and quickly leaves to see Ju-won. He finds Ju-won on the streets, being chased by many goons, so he asks Ju-won to sit with her on her scooter. Ju-won is hesitating because he doesn't want to put Ji-hee into difficulties, but Ji-hee shouts out to the gangsters that she is the girlfriend of Ju-won. At this, Ju-won quickly sits behind her and asks her to leave. They soon go out of the city on the scooter, and Ju-won thanks Ji-hee for saving his life. Suddenly, a van comes from the front side of the road and hits their scooty badly. Ju-won covers Ji-hee completely so that she would not get serious injuries from the fall. Then he stands up facing the van, which is again ready to strike him. Ju-won runs towards it and breaks the front screen of the van. Then he moves the steering wheel and makes the van fall into the valley nearby on himself. In the meantime, Min Ki has come there, and he points the gun at Ju-won to completely end his life. But suddenly, he gets a shot into his own head by someone behind him. It is Kim Do-sik, who is standing in the air and watching Ju-won. Ju-won has joined the NIS and is working under Kim Do-sik. He is asked by Mr. Min to follow all the orders of Kim Do-sik. Later, he goes to meet Ji-hee. They both get married together, and Huisu is born. But unfortunately, Ji-hee dies in a road accident. But she had a smile on her face when she was dying because she was watching her daughter healing her wounds quickly, just like her father. Then Ju-won takes full responsibility for Huisu, and they start to live together happily as a family.